You think that you're more right about this than a professional?
Oh, sure, you're the expert, but I trust my gut.
Okay. We'll see.
You look really good today.
Thanks.
In 2023, we did a glowing episode on Celine Song's debut film, Past Lives. Tonight we're discussing Celine's second film, Materialists, starring Dakota Johnson, Pedro Pascal, and Chris Evans, and co-starring Zoe Winters, Marin Ireland, and Dasha for some reason.
Love is easy.
Is it? I find it to be the most difficult thing in the world.
That's because we can't help it. It just walks into our lives sometimes.
Once again, Celine Song mined her own experiences for the screenplay. Celine Song had been a successful budding playwright before the pandemic cut live theater short. Her story was incredibly interesting. Born in South Korea to a filmmaker father whose work in the 1990s was incredibly popular in South Korea, but he got disillusioned when his 1999 film End of the Century, which he wrote and directed, faced an insane amount of controversy, and he retired from filmmaking. Her mother was a children's book illustrator and graphic designer. When she was 12, Celine's mother got her family an artist visa to Canada, where they moved permanently to Markham, Ontario, 30 kilometers from Toronto. Celine was attend Queen's University in Ontario, graduating with a bachelor's in psychology. Then she totally changed course. Following her passion from childhood, playwriting, she moved to New York City and got her MFA at Columbia in 2014. Over the next almost decade, she worked odd jobs, including as a matchmaker at a matchmaking agency in 2015. While she tried to get her plays off the ground, she met and married her husband, Justin Curticus, another aspiring playwright who was in a writer's fellowship she attended over a summer. In 2019, after 5 years of struggling, Song's play Endlings, the story of a Korean-Canadian writer struggling to write authentic stories about her identity, and also 3 elderly sea women living on a Korean island, opened to critical acclaim for the 2019-2020 season. The season, which would end being shut down for COVID, right as her off-Broadway run in March 2020 started. During COVID, she got attention for staging a virtual play, Chekhov's The Seagull, using Sims 4 characters on Twitch. Although her play would close before it even really had a chance to be seen by a mainstream audience. In January 2020, Song got a film deal for the screenplay she was writing, Past Lives.
12년 전에 그때 내가 만약에 뉴욕에 왔었다면 어땠을까? 만약에 네가 한국을 떠나지 않았다면, 그렇게 떠나지 않았고 우리가 같이 자랐더라도 내가 널 찾았을까?
Which would end up starring Greta Lee, Teo Yo, and John Magero in the semi-autobiographical story of Celine's strange encounter with her childhood best friend who came to New York City from South Korea to see her. When she was already in a relationship with her husband, and the parallel lives that an immigrant child must live and the feelings and memories they encounter dragged up. It was critically acclaimed. That same year, by the time it came out, it was 2023. Celine's husband Justin also made his film debut as a screenwriter for the Luca Guadagnino tennis love triangle classic, Challengers.
Are you hitting on me?
Definitely not. But I do think that you would be a great match for a lot of our clients. We need more straight men in New York City.
Materialist continues the trend of mining Celine Song's own personal experience for subject matter. Dakota Johnson stars as Lucy, a matchmaker at a matchmaking agency in New York City. For 6 months, while she was waiting for her plays to be produced, Celine worked at one of these matchmaking agencies in the city. And it's this time as a matchmaker that makes Materialists more interesting than the countless other movies and TV shows that use the matchmaker as a plot device. The matchmaker who could find everyone else love but has a love life that's messy herself trope is ancient in the movie world. The list of movies involving matchmaking on IMDb has 342 titles.
Matchmaker, matchmaker, look through your book and make me a perfect match.
It's been the subject of game shows, TV dramas, and sitcoms. Oh, so many sitcoms.
This isn't hopeless. You're gonna find someone for me.
No, I won't. You're gonna die alone.
I'm not gonna die alone.
But Celine Song brings us into the world of matchmaking from her own incredibly cynical vantage point. She's cynical about these matchmakers because she believes deeply in love, and she's seen how the sausage is made.
Think about like what they have, it really becomes a list of statistics, right? But then of course I know just transactional. And the thing is, like, we know the truth about love, which the love is an ancient mystery. And it's a thing that you cannot quantify no matter how hard you try. And I would describe it as being struck by lightning, right? And it's like, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. It just is.
But day after day, people are sitting down in front of you and saying, Celine, I want to be struck by lightning.
Yeah.
Why hasn't that happened yet?
Well, I want to be struck by lightning by specifically people with these statistics, right?
Dakota Johnson's Lucy takes us through the terminology and fixations of this industry, which relies on the wealthy and bored for its client base. High-value men and high-value women, terms now beloved by the manosphere and the incel community. Viewing all relationships as math, just dehumanize transactional algorithms where each box is checked. How much do you make? How tall are you? What are you looking for? The clients go on dates with each other with the assumption that there's a mathematically equivalent person they will be compatible with. Dakota Johnson is far more saleswoman than anything. When clients get the jitters or want to give up, she must coax them back, pitching endless dreams that she herself doesn't fully believe in.
You look about 6 feet tall. How much money do you make?
Just straight up like that.
I make 80 grand a year before taxes. Do you make more or less than that?
More.
I know. Finance, right?
Private equity. Do you want a drink?
There's also the strange liminal space in the class strata the matchmaker occupies. She makes $80,000 a year and yet must be able to mingle with the wealthy elite of the city, at least doctors, finance and tech bros, and corporate lawyers. Knowing with her salary and background, a college dropout from a working class background, she'd never be listed for any of the clients she's tasked with algorithmically matching. Materialists is a romantic comedy, technically, but the conventional romantic comedy aspects are the least interesting part. Lucy's ex, who she left because he was a struggling actor, and she at least began believing the part of the matchmaking pitch that she needs someone more in her financial range, John, who is played by a grungy-looking, but not at all Snowpiercer-level Chris Evans, still loves her and is constantly there as a knight in Under Armour when she struggles. Funnily enough, we see him in a play that has Celine Song's name on it as the writer on the billboard, an old play of hers that she's poking fun at. Lucy meets a guy named Harry Castillo, played by Pedro Pascal, who's what matchmakers call a unicorn. Great job, tall, full head of hair, wealthy as can be, and somehow still single. He's a finance nepo baby and relentlessly pursues Lucy after meeting her at his brother's wedding, which he helped set up, giving Lucy the chance to try to fulfill the dream she's selling to other people as he tries to buy her affection and whisk her away, only to realize it's not love, it's attempting to use money as a way to force a connection, something I respect about both Past Lives and Materialists. Painfully pathetic and human at times, both movies avoid the simplicity of casting their main characters as villains. In Past Lives, both Hae-sung and Arthur love Nora in different ways. Is inner tension, with both trying to desperately connect to a person whose life has been split in two by geography and culture. In Materialists, Pedro Pascal could easily be a one-dimensional asshole, but instead he's shown to be vulnerable, deeply insecure, like a child. Also, I fucking hate that leg lengthening surgery thing so much, I hope I never hear about it again. To me, the most interesting part of the movie, but also the one that makes it incredibly tonally uneven, comes when Lucy must face the human consequence of the service, when one of her clients is sexually assaulted on a date she set up. The facade that human interaction can be shorn of human consequences and mathematically predicted crumbles for Lucy. Her boss's reaction is not empathy, but moving to reassure and cover up. It's a dark realization, the kind you never get in romantic comedies like this. Lucy cannot let it go, and it also exposes the cold and tangible reality of the liminal space she occupies. She's not really supposed to be a friend. This is a client and this is a business. She's in the space between friend, therapist, service worker, and confidant, and it is real human tolls. Any service worker will resonate with these pseudo-intimate roles played within modern neoliberal capitalism, as well as living under a culture that's increasingly pushed relationships to be as transactional as anything else we experience, especially in the digital age, when we're increasingly plugged in every waking second and yet lonelier than ever. We aren't just a superficial stat served up to an algorithm, either by a matchmaker or a dating app or a social media app. There are moments of brilliance, as Materialists aims to catch these sentiments, but at the same time, the formulaic rom-com vehicle is definitely not the best way to express them.
Do you want a drink?
Sure.
What do you want?
Coke and beer.
Hey, buddy.
Hi, John.